This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. But here now the news for St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2025. That's why there's Leprechaun Mickey. It's definitely not Safari Mickey, but with a green hat and with a gold buckle, which totally looks like Leprechaun Mickey. Just go with it. Anyway. Lightning Lane Premier Pass is totally sold out for today, March 17, 2025, for all 4 Walt Disney World theme parks. Provides access to every Lightning Lane at a park. It was $3.99 for Magic Kingdom, $2.49 for Epcot, $3.39 for Hollywood Studios, and $1.59 for Animal Kingdom per person or per guest. And prices vary by date and park, but those are the prices today when they were all gone. Premier Pass also sold out for the Magic Kingdom for March 21st and the 23rd and the 24th. For Disney's Hollywood Studios, it is sold out through March 21st, and Animal Kingdom, it is sold out today and tomorrow. It remains available for Epcot for the rest of the month after March 17th. Of course, this is a busy season. It's spring break for a lot of the country, and the spring break keeps moving around essentially, right? Each week is sort of different regions, and so the whole month is kind of bad, but the middle of March is always particularly bad, so no surprise that a lot of people decided to take advantage of this. But so keep that in mind. You'll definitely want to buy them early if you're looking to get them. And a reminder, as always, that we have a video where we go through a day at the Magic Kingdom with Lightning Lane Premier Pass right here on the channel, so you learn everything you need to know before you buy it. Be careful if you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day in Central Florida this evening, as the National Weather Service in Melbourne has replaced their fire weather watch with a red flag warning. The red flag warning means there is a high fire danger for the area. Critical fire weather conditions are either occurring or will occur due to a combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and warm temperatures. The warning is in effect from noon to 8 p.m. Eastern today. It's in place for much of the East Central Florida, including Orange and Osceola counties, where Walt Disney World and the Universal Orlando Resort are located. Other affected counties are Volusia, Lake, Seminole, Brevard, Okeechobee, Indian River, St. Lucie, and Martin. Wind will blow west to northwest at 15 to 20 miles an hour. Gusts could reach up to 30 miles an hour, and humidity is 25 to 35%. Any fires that develop are likely to spread rapidly. The National Weather Service warns against outdoor burning, which includes grilling and campfires if you're staying at Fort Wilderness. And on March 5th, the National Weather Service similarly issued a fire weather watch and then upgraded it to a red flag warning. This is weird because, you know, when hurricane season hits, we're very used to that. And honestly, living in Florida, you get used to near daily tornado watches and things of this sort all the time. This is a different one. This is one we don't get often, so it's a little scary because it's not one of the usuals. Although I'm sure if you live out in, California, it's probably your equivalent of when we get those tornado watches and hurricane warnings. You're used to it. Crews have started to replace the bricks at the entrance to Liberty Square at the Magic Kingdom. Stanchions and ropes blocked a small section of the walkway on Friday morning just before the Liberty Square Bridge. The bricks within the roped-off area are clearly freshly placed. They're not as scuffed and faded as the bricks around them. And white mortar shows between the bricks to the sides of the fresh square. And we expect more of this to be replaced on a rolling basis. Obviously, they have to be pretty quick about it. This does interfere with the Magic Kingdom's parade route, so probably a little bit a day, and they got to do it at certain times. But this will be continuing, I'm sure. Crews have installed more new roller coaster track at Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at the Magic Kingdom, which is closed for its lengthy refurbishment. In the town, a tumbleweed new track was laid last week, and we could see even more new pieces curving up around the mountain behind the town. This area was mostly devoid of crew members on Friday, suggesting this track is secure, although work in the area is clearly not complete. We could just barely see more track behind the scaffolding and in the tunnel. Crews laid the first new track piece back in January, but work is focused inside the mountain. More new track was laid on the back of the mountain, and some crew members were working on fresh pieces at a curve in the ride where they had previously torn away rockwork. In addition to the actual track, new steel pieces were installed around the edges of the rock. In multiple spots, the rock has been opened up and work lights shine out. We got a closer look at the last remaining tagged props. A lantern has a red tag reading demo, but a bellows and a stove are labeled in green to remain. Most of the crew members we did see were working on this bridge. It looks like they're constructing a new railing or support structure. There's currently a gap in the center of the railing, and the pieces are painted to look like wood, but it's actually made of steel. More pieces of steel are staged on the scaffolding next to the workers, and a fiery mask indicates welding work is underway. One crew member appeared to be working with a sander, and at the opening of another tunnel, crew members were working in holes within the rockwork below the track's usual path. They may have been fixing up some of the structural work. And under some nearby scaffolding, a grid of rebar is across the ground, ready for new flooring. Another tarp has joined those hanging in front of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad's queue. The small sheer tarp on the right is new, stretching from the building's roof to the rockwork, and otherwise we didn't see much change in this area. Crew members transported more steel poles to the construction site with the crane. We did also see our friend Dumpo, the flying dumpster, in the sky. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad will reopen sometime in 2026 from this major refurbishment. Though the quick service restaurant has not resumed operation, the exterior Tortuga Tavern seating area at Magic Kingdom has fully reopened to guests. Tortuga Tavern is located across from Pirates of the Caribbean. The Adventureland restaurant closed back in June of 2024. It temporarily operated as a gift shop, the Tortuga Treasures, due to the construction at Pirates of the Caribbean related to the upcoming Pirate Tavern. The restaurant was previously scheduled to reopen in January, at least according to the Disney World website, but then it was removed. Refurbishment work began instead with the outdoor seating area blocked off in phases. The covered seating area has fully reopened now with chairs and tables available to guests looking for a quick respite from the heat. It is hot sometimes right now. Crews installed new flooring across the entire patio. The flooring is mostly made of large black rectangular stones with small red bricks in rows between columns. The flooring was previously dark square tiles. Some chairs and tables are also on a section of red flooring that matches the main Adventureland walkway. Disney has still not announced a reopening of Tortuga Tavern. We don't know when or if that will happen, but we'll keep you in the loop. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT, and our team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland resorts to Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. They're also able to book unforgettable VIP tours where you and your group can experience the ultimate park day. And the best part is their concierge services are 100% free. So book today. The Gran Fiesta Tour, starring the Three Caballeros, has officially reopened in the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot following its months-long refurbishment. And the ride has been refreshed with brighter lighting and refreshed scenes. The Gran Fiesta Tour, starring the Three Caballeros, closed back in January, on January 6th, to be exact. The attraction attempted to soft open on Friday, March 14th, but operations were stopped due to some technical issues. Due to this, management had stopped testing the ride to allow maintenance the opportunity to fix the issue, and then they did eventually open the ride on Saturday as planned. On Saturday, a majority of those technical problems had been resolved and the attraction was restored to its usual operation. One of the first changes we noticed since the refurb is the volcano effect on the back wall of Plaza de los Amigos. The smoke emerging from the top of the volcano is way more visible and vibrant now, probably than it's ever been. Moving to the main attraction, most of the issues we noticed during the soft opening had been resolved. Many of the scenes have been refreshed with a new coat of paint, and the screens also appear nice and bright. The props and scenes surrounding the attraction boats have also been refreshed, or at least cleaned in some cases. No more musty, dirty balloons. The attraction is looking much better than it did before it closed. Our reporter also noted that the lighting in several of the non-screen-based scenes is much brighter than previously, allowing a better look at some of the props and sets. The only issue that we had noticed that had not been resolved is one of the dancing dolls on the left side of the boat. Usually the female dancer spins in a circle, but the doll is still stationary, but I'm sure they'll be able to get to it soon. As we noticed during the soft opening, the two dolls playing the marimba have returned to their old location. These dolls are located near the scene where Donald loses his bathing suit. They had been missing for several months prior to the refurb. The animatronics for all of the Three Caballeros are also working properly. I don't know if we said properly. They still look a little janky to me. I don't know about it. Look, here's my thing. Tokyo Disney took such wonderful care of the animatronics from the Mickey Mouse. For those that don't know, the Mickey Mouse Revue was an attraction in Walt Disney World from 1971 to 1980. That attraction was located in Fantasyland in the theater, which is now home to Mickey's PhilharMagic. So when the Oriental Land Company signed the deal with Disney to build a park in Tokyo, they wanted proper Disneyland, but they also picked out kind of which things they wanted from the two parks. And one of the things they wanted was the Mickey Mouse Revue. And Walt Disney World decided, well, we don't need to replicate that. They can just have this one, because there were all sorts of problems with it operationally. But either way, it was given to Tokyo. They ran it until the 2000s. It was there for a long time. And then when it closed, some wonderful Imagineers had the idea to take the 3 Caballero animatronics from that attraction and bring them over and put them in Gran Fiesta Tour, which is wonderful. They looked amazing when they got here. Tokyo meticulously cared for them. And then I've watched them over the 10 some odd years they've been in Epcot just crumble and collapse upon themselves. So hopefully they get cleaned up a little better, but yeah, I don't think they look perfect, but they're working to some extent. And finally, the paint on the mural near the end of the attraction has been refreshed. As with the other scenes, the lights in this section are also much brighter, making the mural easier to see. If you want to see more of the reopened attraction, you can watch our full POV video right here on the channel. The saga continues of adding a covered seating area to Woody's Lunchbox at Disney's Hollywood Studios as one structure has finally received some of its lights. The epic saga of building additional covered seating at Woody's Lunchbox, of course, began way back in January of 2022. We've been following the ongoing progress, and it finally appears one of the 3 roof structures is nearing completion. Since our last update, the structure closest to the existing seating area has now got new lights installed. This is where we previously saw exposed wires hanging from the panels, so the wires were likely waiting to be connected with these new lights. At this stage, the lights are only basic bulbs hanging from the roof panels using a single thin wire. We expect the lights will be either better installed inside some sort of building toy style hole or placed in themed light fixtures, but we'll have to wait and see which it is. On the other side of the construction zone, the 2 other roof structures are not nearly as far along. We expect all 3 of the shade structures to receive the same blue panels as the first, but none of them have appeared on this 3rd structure yet. And strangely, it appears like Disney has actually removed one of the metal panels we previously saw installed on this back structure. The 3rd structure does appear to have more metal crossbeams since our last update, so perhaps Disney decided more support was needed or just wasn't done yet. Nonetheless, the expanded seating area is still not complete, and guests grabbing a snack in Toy Story Land will have to hunt for some shady spots in the meantime. But the most progress we've seen, I mean, those first couple years of this, which it's psychotic that I'm saying the first couple years of this, we didn't see a lot of progress, and now suddenly it's racing along. I guess maybe they're like, look, it's either going to be done for this summer or it's not. And summer is quickly approaching. It's Tough to Be a Bug is now permanently closed at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Guests gathered on Sunday evening in celebration of the show's final moments. Prior to the last showtime, guests surrounded the attraction before a cast member collected them into the queue. I use that term very loosely. I'll talk about that in a minute. The show will soon be replaced with Zootopia Better Zootgether, arriving sometime in the winter of 2025. While no exact date has been announced, the premiere of the Zootopia show takes place in the same time frame as the release of Zootopia 2. Zootopia Better Zootgether has been announced to feature at least one original song, with singing by Jennifer Goodwin, the voice of Judy Hopps in the films. It's Tough to Be a Bug debuted as an opening day attraction at Disney's Animal Kingdom way back on April 22nd, 1998. Taking place in the Tree of Life Theater, A Bug's Life-inspired show premiered 7 months before the film even came out. The show is about 9 minutes in length. The mostly 3D show included special appearances by animatronics of Flick and Hopper from A Bug's Life. And the show is particularly known for its sometimes uncomfortable special effects, which included air puffs aimed at audience members, the odor of a stink bug, and the effect of a bee sting poking guests in the back, and of course, bugs crawling under your butt. The show's final day brought back the bug eyes, the honorary bug eyes. The 3D glasses were back. They had been missing for a couple weeks in favor of the purple glasses, which are used for Muppet Vision 3D. Why? I don't know if they just were afraid a lot of people would steal them the last couple weeks. They wanted to make sure they had enough for the last show. Either way, after the last show, cast members allowed guests to take the glasses home with them, get a free souvenir. It's pretty cool. While unfortunate, it has become somewhat common occurrence for resellers looking to capitalize on the closure of Disney attraction to begin selling items taken from the parks. And with Muppet Vision 3D at Hollywood Studios closing June 7th, and It's Tough to Be a Bug now having had its final performance, both attractions are now garnering the attention of resellers. In fact, the glasses for It's Tough to Be a Bug only reappeared at the attraction again yesterday, but nonetheless, they appeared on eBay shortly thereafter, as have the purple glasses for Muppet Vision 3D. So, yeah, people are already reselling them. Surprise, they're running anywhere from $60 to $100 in price. So if you really want one that bad, I mean, they're out there. But yes, so yesterday was the final showing of It's Tough to Be a Bug. If you'd like to watch that final show, because it was a rowdy and wild one, you can watch it right here on our YouTube channel. We also have a multi-angle tribute. If you want to actually hear the show, you can watch the multi-angle tribute video that we put out over the weekend too, that Billy and Katie did a great job on. I want to talk about this closing a little bit. I think it's wonderful that we have a fandom where so many people show up to say goodbye to something or be a part of the last show. I have become more and more disenchanted with the Walt Disney World fan base the more I have gone to these closing events. People are fighting to be last. People are not kind to each other. People are making lives of cast members incredibly difficult. So I'll give you a quick recap of the events that transpired last evening. Animal Kingdom closes at 6 p.m., so this is a little earlier than we usually get to do these things, but I guess Dinorama was similar. So we're like 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes prior to 6 p.m. closing time. Obviously, the way Walt Disney World operations works, the rope is going to get closed directly at 6 o'clock. That's when the line shuts off. Now, a large crowd had gathered in the 10 minutes prior to that outside the attraction, not really caring about guests. So people, just blocking the whole path, blocking the entrance. It kind of like when people at the airport, when they're 4 boarding groups away from their group for their flight, just start standing in the way of everyone that's got to board the plane. It's silly. And so cast members do their job. They decided like 5 minutes before to tell people, we're now loading for the last show. Everybody come in, and people start coming in. But the problem is, people did come in, so they listened to the cast members slightly, but then they just started pulling off to the sides on either side of the lane. And they just parked there. And this has become a thing at everything. They did it at Splash Mountain. They've done it. And so I was really annoyed. The cast members asked me to enter. At that point, our group goes in. We have gone in now, and we're getting out of the way. And these people are just lining, hundreds of guests lining the inside of the queue. So this is in the queue, between the ropes. They're all just up on either side, not obeying what the cast members have asked them to do. And so I am pretty annoyed about this. I made a comment out loud that was like, this is not how a queue works. You should be better than this. And someone, I was told later, someone behind me who was standing there said, this is how, you know how it works, Tom. No, that's not how it works. You can be a functional human being. Human kindness costs nothing, and it's more important than being in the final showing of It's Tough to Be a Bug. I hate to tell you that. This is why people feel the way they do about Disney adults, because so many fans act like this. This entitlement, this whatever this is. We need to be functional human beings. It doesn't endear us to cast members. This is why a lot of cast members dislike the fans, because we act like this. We make their job harder. They asked very kindly for you to do something. Please go do it. Don't disobey them. You are no better than the tourists. We all act high and mighty like, oh, the tourists never listen to cast members and they all break the rules and they do this and that. And then in these situations, we act holier than thou, and we pretend we know better than the cast member, and we decide, no, I'm going to do this and not obey this person who works here who's asked me to do something. We all sit here and we claim cast members are the magic, and cast members, we have to defend them, blah, 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 and then we act like this in front of them. It doesn't line up. It's not the same mentality in my book. So, look, I'm not gonna clear operations on this either, because the way it was handled was dumb. It was really dumb. They didn't clearly know what show was the last show, right? So like people then started stopping at the end, and I did eventually stop off to the side when we got all the way to the end of the queue, because they're trying to make, at that point, they already have a full theater. The theater is mostly full at this point, and they're trying to get us to go in. And I want to know, is this the last show at this point? I don't care where I sit in the last show, but at this point, you have less than a full theater behind. It's the last show. We don't know. We don't need what happened at Triceratops Spin to happen again. And for those that don't know, they miscounted Triceratops Spin. The final ride on Triceratops Spin was all of three of what, 16 vehicles? I forget how many there are. Is it 8 vehicles with 16 rows? No, 16? I don't remember. Whatever it is. They ran like 3 Triceratops on that final ride. So there's hundreds and hundreds of people outside the ride looking at 3 groups of guests on a mostly empty ride go around. Now, shouldn't we have counted that out? Shouldn't we have made sure we had a full final rotation for that attraction. Wouldn't that have been nice if more people got to be in the last group? And I don't understand why, for its stuff to be a bug, we didn't just let people line up off to the side. They wouldn't have been blocking the middle of the path. They could have been off to the side. That was the way to handle it. But in the end, when one person's telling me this is the last show and the other cast member is saying it's not, and I don't know who's right. No one's been informed. No one knows what's going on, and they're not operating correctly. But still, either way, the answer is not to block the queue, and it's not to stand in the middle of it. That is not the answer. And then for the confusion that happened in the load area, that's on operations. So neither side is right in this situation. And Disney, you've now been through 2 of these. You've been through 2 of these this year. You botched Dinorama. That was a disaster. This was a bigger disaster. And this is getting you ready. This is getting you ready. Now, that's Animal Kingdom, and I know Ops doesn't talk. They're not going to talk to each other. Hollywood Studios is going to be very unprepared. June 7th is going to be a cataclysmic disaster if we don't figure this out. Whether it's wristbands, separate queue, whatever needs to be done to have order and not anarchy for the final showing of Muppet Vision, figure it out. Figure it out ahead of time. Do not wait for that day and then be surprised when the line wraps through all of Grand Avenue. I had no idea people cared. People showed up to Dinorama, and it's tough to be a bug, and I don't want to be mean to those two things, but they are not Muppet Vision 3D, and they're not even the Rivers of America and the Riverboat. Magic Kingdom better damn sure be ready for the disaster that's going to be. Tom Sawyer Island has operational issues to begin with, getting people on and off that island. They best be ready for what that closing day looks like. And the same with the Riverboat. They best be ready and have either a separate queue or a wristband system or something for that last ride on that Riverboat, because otherwise these guests are not going to behave. They're going to be like this because I'm more important than everyone else around me, and they're going to fight and get in the way and not behave. So please, I am begging Magic Kingdom Ops and Hollywood Studios Ops, if you're out there listening, if this gets to them, please prepare for these closing events. Because if you thought, these are 2 things that relatively way less people cared about. Both Dinorama and its stuff to be a bug. And this will carry through to Dinosaur too. Dinosaur next January is going to be another disaster. So please, if guests want to come enjoy this, have a system in place for it to be enjoyable for everyone, so cast members are not disrespected, so guests know what they need to do, and so they don't, I am not, again, I think both sides are at fault here, but, operations, you can essentially solve the problem. You could pre-solve it. You can make sure, if you know your guests aren't going to behave, put them in a situation where they have no choice but to do so, and that should be the plan. Either way, we'll move on. Beyond that, real quick, I just want to say, what happened in that last show. Now, with the Country Bear Jamboree closing, people kind of make it like a Rocky Horror thing where there were certain lines people screamed out. Everyone sang along, but not at like a screeching volume. It was a pretty fun and enjoyable event. In the case of the final showing of It's Tough to Be a Bug, people were just screaming the whole show. There were the lines that I think are the things that people will remember from that, which is, if all the honorary bugs can remain in their seats so all the maggots, cockroaches, and such could go through. We didn't get to hear that because people were just screaming over it. But then also, like, the whole crowd quoting the whole show along, and half of them wrong half the time, so, like, it wasn't all in unison either. I know almost all of us in that theater, I would say, probably a regular guest may have snuck their way into that last show last night, and if they did, I feel so sorry for them. But nonetheless, I know we've all seen it 100 times, but the last show, it's to an extent. But the scream, like just screaming the lines at the screen, is too much. We have to care about the guest experience also. I know these are farewells, and I get it, but. I remember when we went to the closing of Maelstrom, we didn't all sit in that movie theater at the end and scream the lines to the Spirit of Norway film back at the screen. It was a full house. But instead, it was very respectful. Like, people cheered for things, and then at the end, everyone gave it a standing ovation, and that was very wonderful and kind and thoughtful. I thought what happened at Country Bears was too, but I really don't want this to happen in Muppet Vision. I don't want to see the last work of Jim Henson go out in a fashion where people are just screaming over the whole show and no one gets to enjoy it. one final time. So be respectful of guests around here. Let me know in the comments. Maybe you think I'm wrong. Maybe you think it should be like that. I don't know. But either way, let me know how you feel. Demolition has begun on It's Tough to Be a Bug already this morning at Disney's Animal Kingdom. This, of course, the show, again, just closed last night. But the attraction's entrance structure is now gone. The standby entrance used to be on the left while the Lightning Lane was on the right. The Lightning Lane tap stiles remain wrapped in green tarps, but the Lightning Lane podium is also still there, likely to be reused for Zootopia. There's nothing on the podium for guests to mess with, but it looks like someone left their ticket. For comparison, here's what it used to look like, including the attraction sign, which is now gone. The entrance pathway remains open, so guests can still enjoy the sights around the Tree of Life, including the animal carvings. No more stanchions are splitting the line, and there are construction walls closer to the theater entrance, blocking the way up there. But this is nice that you could still enjoy this path in the meantime. I don't know if eventually, at some point in this construction, they'll need more of this path, or maybe they're just going to leave it as is. Either way, it's nice that it's open for guests to enjoy. There are already signs of demolition and construction, including tree branches on the ground, and another set of construction walls connects to green scrim. Some black poles were visible behind these walls, and the construction walls are decorated with those PPG Paints branded signs featuring quotes. One is a quote by Walt Disney himself: "What I have learned from the animal world is a renewed sense of kinship with the earth and all its inhabitants." Also, a new Disney's Animal Kingdom guide map debuted today, and as well they updated the Braille map for the park following the show's permanent closure. The guide map cover features a child with binoculars looking up at the sky, and It's Tough to Be a Bug is now removed from said map. The It's Tough to Be a Bug text on the park's Braille map was shaved off, and parts of Dinoland USA were also shaved off the map recently. So there you go. The next day, no more signs, no more maps, quietly erasing It's Tough to Be a Bug. I think it was still on the park directional signage, at least today, but probably be gone relatively soon. While Walt Disney World fans are familiar with the name of Boxo, the tiger cub at Disney's Animal Kingdom, the name of his dad is now a closely guarded secret. Cast members used to tell guests the name of Boxo's dad, but the intelligent tiger learned what the word meant. He started to respond when guests called his name. This was a problem because the tiger expected a reward and didn't receive one, which led to anger issues. As such, the keepers will no longer tell guests his name. Thankfully, Boxo and Mom Sony don't care about their names, so no issues there. But Boxo is the first Sumatran tiger cub born at Disney's Animal Kingdom in 7 years and debuted on the Maharaja Jungle Trek back in January. And demand to see the tiger was so high that there's very often a queue to see him. But yeah, you can't know the dad's name. Not allowed. Quick reminder, we do have our spring cleaning auction coming up this weekend on Saturday and Sunday right here on this channel. If you want to watch live, you can start bidding already at auction.wdwnt.com. Hundreds of items from the Disney parks all around the world, many of them limited edition in nature and very, very hard to find. So this is a chance for us to clear out the back. We're getting ready to start a couple of new programs. I'm not ready to announce the big shakeups to our YouTube channels just yet, but something is coming and we'll let you know very soon. But this is kind of step one, making sure we have enough room back in our storage facility and in our back offices to do what we need to do to get these shows off the ground. So help us do that. Again, at auction.wdwnt.com, there'll be the fun live stream you can watch this weekend right here on the channel. We've extended our tours of the WDWNT Museum right here in Celebration, Florida. We have 2 more dates of tours left. They've been very popular. We completely sold out on Saturday. And thank you to everyone who did come. But we have 2 more dates left. These are our first weeknight ones. These are the first ones we've done on a weeknight. This coming Wednesday, March 19th at 7 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we have tours. And then finally on Monday, March 24th, we have tours as well. So we hope you'll join us for either of those if you can. Tours are just about an hour and a half each, and people seem to really like them. It's a cool opportunity to see all the Disney Parks history we have here up in our lobby if you can't make it to WDW News Tonight or a live recording of this show. Tickets for all those shows and our museum tour available at events.wdwnt.com. Refurbishment work continues on It's a Small World at Disneyland Park as more scaffolding is erected and the construction walls are expanded into Fantasyland. It's a Small World at Disneyland closed for a multi-month refurbishment in late January when it came out of its holiday version. That's the end of the holiday run. Of course, It's a Small World is going to be closed until April 25th. That's when it will come back with that new Coco scene. They're adding Miguel and Dante in Alebrije form to a section of the ride. But yes, while all that's going on, the construction walls for the project originally wrapped around the main facade of Small World, right in front of the attraction's entrance. However, Disney is now working on replacing the bricks in the entire area to match the newer section we found beneath the nearby popcorn cart last year. As a result of the brick replacement, the construction walls have now shifted outward. The extended walls now wrap around the entire left side of Small World into the section known as Small World Mall. The new walls have directional signage posted every few feet to help guests get to all the nearby locations. These signs feature location names above assorted imagery of the Small World dolls and the world landmarks. While the walls have extended into the walking path, the entire Small World Mall section is still open to guests. The Small World Toy Shop, Fantasy Fair Gifts, Mickey's Toontown Train Station, the Troubadour Tavern, and the nearby restrooms are all still operational. Guests trying to reach each of these locations may need to weave between several construction walls, which is why there are so many signs. To help facilitate the brick replacement, the popcorn cart has been moved to the opposite side of the walkway where it is usually parked. And like the restrooms and stores, the popcorn cart is still fully operational in the new location. The work taking place inside the attraction can be viewed by taking a ride on the Disneyland Railroad, which recently reopened from a second round of construction. The water has been drained from the boat path weaving around the front of the facade, and on the left side of the building, metal scaffolding has been erected. It appears construction crews are in the process of installing platforms on the scaffolding using wood planks. Additional tools and parts have been staged on the roof of the facade, such as metal pipes and cables, and apart from the scaffolding, we notice no major changes to the attraction so far. So a couple things we think are happening here. We do think there's going to be a little bit of a facade refresh, although they're quickly running out of time when they reopen next month. We would think they'd want to refresh the facade a little bit, as there will be a brand new projection show debuting on said facade come the start of the 70th anniversary celebration in May. And of course, there's lots of other things going on in the meantime there too. But April 25th is when they're going to reopen. It's when it's scheduled to reopen with Coco added. And then, of course, in July, on July 17th is when they'll debut the reworked It's a Small World song, which will have the new added verse from Richard Sherman as part of the 70th anniversary celebration. So a big year for It's a Small World at Disneyland. In a recent wave of additional updates to the Disneyland Railroad, the Mardi Gras props have been restored to their proper place and several effects have been repaired. The Disneyland Railroad recently resumed regular operations after its second multi-month refurb earlier this year. On the first day of resumed rides, however, several of the effects and some of the props were still missing. We noticed the first changes on the leg from Main Street USA to New Orleans Square. To the right of the train, the props have now all been restored to the platform in front of the New Orleans Mardi Gras Supply Company facade. When the railroad first reopened, this was left completely empty and all the props were missing, as you see in the photo you're looking at now. But now the props are stacked in front of the company doors once again. The props are supposed to be Mardi Gras supplies, so they include some large flowers like the ones attached to Mardi Gras floats and barrels piled with plastic beads. The second recent change is the return of the projected effects of the Grand Canyon diorama. As you can see on our ride video here on YouTube, the Grand Canyon diorama was only a static scene with nothing in the sky when it reopened, but the projections have now been turned on, so all of that is back and working once more, which is great to see. As well, when the railroad reopened, the dinosaurs in the primeval world scene were all immobile, or at least their heads weren't moving. That has been fixed as well. So this happens sometimes where you have a deadline where you need an attraction reopened by, operations demands it, you have so many guests in a given day, etc., and the ride is not fully ready, which is not good show, but it's better than it being closed in some cases. But nonetheless, it's nice to see that the maintenance crews have restored everything that wasn't working on day one, and the Disneyland Railroad is looking as good as ever right now. A new straw clip featuring Mickey Mouse and a red balloon has arrived at Disneyland Park. Straw clip was being sold at the Stage Door Cafe, which is located in Frontierland. It's at other locations as well. It sells for $13.59. A sign advertising the straw clip is placed on the main ordering counter. The sign notes that the clip is available while supplies last and is limited to 2 per person per transaction. The purchase of the straw clip includes a choice of a fountain beverage at the time of purchase. As described by its name, the new straw clip features Mickey Mouse in his classic cartoon shorts holding a bright red balloon. In his usual style, Mickey's shoes are bright yellow and his gloves are white. Mickey is posed holding the string of the balloon using both hands with his head tilted to the side. The straw clip is extremely similar to the one that was sold for the Disney 100 celebration, but the coloring is very, very different. Did you know there's a way you could save big at Disney Deluxe Resorts? Well, today's show is brought to you by DVC Rental Store, a great way for you to plan a luxury Disney vacation on a modest budget. You don't need to sign up for a full DVC contract, but instead they will allow you to rent the points you need for a magical stay. It's really the best way to stay deluxe at a fraction of the cost. And now, thanks to their lowest price guaranteed offer, you'll always have the best price on the market. The rooms are discounted up to 75%, and they have the largest member inventory for points, so there's lots to choose from. You can search their availability for free right now, which is not something all companies offer. And if you do choose to book, they have a great cancellation policy and a low down payment. DVC Rental Store is the #1 DVC rental company in the United States, one we've used many times way before they were even a sponsor, so head over to our description to check them out. New rumors indicate that the Disney Junior Dance Party at California Adventure may be closing for good. Per the Disneyland website, the last day of operations for the show is Sunday, March 23rd, citing showtimes of 10:15 a.m., 11:15 a.m., 12:15 p.m. Beginning March 24th, there are no showtimes available for the 30-minute program. It's unknown if the show will be gone for good, receiving an overlay for the resort's 70th anniversary beginning May 16th, or if something new will be added to the Disney Theater in Hollywoodland. However, no matter what, this current iteration will cease on March 24th. The Disney Junior Dance Party is targeted towards preschool-age children who need to shake out some energy. Vampirina, Doc McStuffins, and even Mickey and Minnie from Mickey and the Roadster Racers join the show as DJ and Fiesta play popular songs from Disney Junior shows. The Disney Junior Dance Party show performers are unionized by the American Guild of Variety Actors. Last year, the stunt performers of the AGVA were cut from the Amazing Spider-Man show. This change meant that no more rooftop stunts performed by a live actor could occur during the Spider-Man Stuntronic show at DCA. Removing live performers from the show was reportedly due to budget cuts in anticipation of Disneyland forward spending. Of course, earlier in 2024, we lost Doctor Strange, The Mysteries of the Mystic Arts. They've cut down other performances. It's been sort of an ongoing war. So the fear at Disneyland Resort is that this is being cut in favor of nothing. This is just another budget cut for budget cut's sake. I'm hoping it's the latter. I hope there's something new coming to the space instead for the 70th, but it's weird that very suddenly we're saying goodbye to Disney Junior. YouTuber and engineer Mark Rober has shared a video touring Walt Disney Imagineering, which includes a first look at what may be the model for the new Lion King ride coming to Disneyland Paris. In a section near the beginning of the video, Rober shares an image of a scale model showing the new Lion King land coming to Disney Adventure World at Paris. The first model is the same one we got to see back at D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan event last year. When touring the model shop section of the building, Robert meets an Imagineer actively working on a newer model. Unlike the more detailed previous image, this second model is in a much earlier state with only basic shapes and minimal colors. This model is shaped like the floor of a jungle or forest, which features shapes like trunks of trees and rockwork. The model has been decorated using plastic plants and some fake leaves, adding to the jungle theming. The Imagineer explains the process of looking at models from the perspective of the guest viewing it, which involves running a 360-degree camera along a track through the center of the model. The YouTube video includes a short clip of the model as seen from the guest size perspective. The video does not specify what this is for, but based on the current known projects at Walt Disney Imagineering, which is, we think, all they would be willing to show on a YouTube video, we think this is from the ride in particular. So this is from the log flume Lion King attraction. Maybe perhaps you're going to be kind of shrunken down to the size of a lion cub. That's why the leaves and such are a little big in scale. But this would be our first look inside the attraction in any way, shape, or form, if that is what this is. It could be something else, but our money is on the fact that this is that upcoming completely unique and new Lion King ride coming to the Pride Lands area at Disney Adventure World. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind the show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to all our WIGS members watching who make this show happen every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying enjoy the rest of your today. Have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Happy St. Patrick's Day.